Hello everyone, my name is Mike and I am the co-founder of the Wanda Pratnicka Center. Today we're going to talk about pain, why we have it, where it really comes from, and how to stop needing it. Most people think that suffering just happens to them. However, there is always a deeper reason behind every struggle. And once you understand it, you will have the power to change it. I will also look at one of the most damaging ideas people carry, and that is that the suffering makes us better people. This belief causes enormous, unnecessary pain, and it comes from a place most people would never expect. At the end, I will cover something that surprises almost everyone, and that is that the change doesn't have to hurt. The only things that hurts is being afraid of it. Human beings are coming to Earth to learn, and the body, the physical body, is our learning tool. The place where we are coming from, there is no physical pain. And that is exactly why we, human souls, choose to come here. We wanted to feel things deeply and directly, and the physical body makes that possible. The physical body is made of exactly the same basic materials as the earth itself, and we are connected to it. We are not separated from nature. We depend on the earth and the earth depends on us. As soon as we damage the earth, we are damaging ourselves. And that is not just a nice idea, it is a direct physical fact. So pain is a very powerful teacher. However, what you need to know is that we choose it. The pain wasn't forced upon us. Most people only start working on themselves when something hurts badly enough. When life gets comfortable, we tend to let go of our growth process, and pain removes that option. However, pain was always a choice and not a punishment. We could learn without suffering, but at the present moment on Earth, most people have difficulties to decide for that. And here is a very important aspect. There is nothing special or noble about choosing the pain path. Suffering is simply something that tends to wake people up. If we paid attention earlier, we wouldn't need to go through the pain right now. The other very important issue is that nothing and no one can force us to change. Free will is very real. No person, no situation, and no force can make us do anything we haven't chosen on some level on the inside. However, if we keep refusing to look at what needs to be changed, the pain grows. And at some point, it reaches a moment where we simply cannot go on the same way. And at that wonderful moment, change becomes easy and very, very welcome. I already pointed it out, but I will repeat it more in detail since this is so important. And it is about the belief that the suffering makes us better people. It is one of the most damaging ideas we can ever carry. Many people have this belief deep inside of them that hardship gives life meaning, or that being in pain proves they are good people. That belief is simply not true. And that belief causes people to hold on suffering without realizing it, even in moments when they say they want to be free. This idea comes from misunderstanding of Christ's story. People focus on the cross, on the pain and on death. But Jesus spent far more time on earth after his resurrection than before it. His message was not about suffering. It was about overcoming death. It was about joy and not pain. The resurrection was the point he was making, not the crucifixion. And here is a very important idea. When two opposite desires exist at the same time, we get stuck. If a part of us desires to get better and another part believes that suffering is what makes us human beings worthy, we go in circles. We genuinely want one thing while unconsciously holding on to the opposite. And no outside treatment can fix this. The change has to start inside. Here is another point on forgiveness and the fact that it sets you free. It does not set the other person who hurt you free. Many people avoid forgiving because they think it means agreeing with what happened, and that they have to be close again with the person who hurt them. And that is absolutely not true. Forgiveness means putting down the heaviness, the burden we carry inside. The other person doesn't even need to know about it. And without forgiveness, we stay stuck in what happened. Without that, we stay in the reality of the horror we went through forever. Also, guilt and feeling unworthy of good things block the healing. When people believe they are guilty of something, they keep punishing themselves for past choices. And by that, they close the door on getting better. Also, feeling unworthy of a good life is one of the most painful ways to hold ourselves back. And it always needs to be released through forgiving others and, most importantly, through forgiving yourself. A quite important issue is that growing spiritually doesn't require special conditions or any special practices. We don't need to live our everyday life to grow. We don't need to sit in silence for hours or separate us from the world. Real growth happens in the middle of ordinary life, in our relationships, in our work, in the small choices we make every day. And that is because life is the best teacher ever. Change is just a natural way of going about life, just like growing up. When children stop needing a toy they loved, they don't grieve it. They simply move on, interested in new things without losing anything. And a real inner growth works the same way. Things that no longer serve us, they are just falling away on its own. Always remember, it is not change that is hurting us, it is the fear of change. Many people resist to change because they think or they imagine that change will cost them a lot. However, what they imagined would cost them is always much, much less than the real loss. And if we look directly at the fear, it begins to shrink. And when the change actually comes, it's very rarely painful. Most of the time, it is a huge relief. Growing spiritually doesn't mean to leave your current life behind. We don't need to change our job or home or our daily routine to start growing. The change, the growth happens exactly where you are in your life right now. Oftentimes, using spiritual practices is an escape from life. It is not growth, it is avoidance of life. Real growth faces life directly. It doesn't hide from it. When our thinking changes, unnecessary things fall away by themselves. When the inner shift is real, the things that no longer serve us simply stop feeling necessary. They drop away on their own. And holding on to old patterns doesn't protect us in any way. On the contrary, it just makes the lesson harder, it makes our life harder, and the lesson doesn't disappear because we refuse it. It just waits, and usually it becomes bigger and bigger over time. And once we stop resisting, the process moves forward by itself. That surprises most people. They expect change to be a long struggle. But once we genuinely stop fighting it, it moves on its own. There is no force required. The resistance was the only thing making it hard. And looking directly at fear makes the fear much smaller. Most fears grow in the darkness. When we avoid them, they feel bigger than they actually are. When we turn toward the fears and look at them clearly, they begin to lose their power. And here is a very important sentence. We don't have to conquer fear. We just have to stop running from it. Okay, thank you for listening to that podcast, and I would like to invite you to listen to the other one in 2 weeks. And as usual, until then, bye-bye.